Hello, FlossTube. It has been a hot minute since I filmed anything for you. So here's the deal. I had a lot of fun in September. I got everything scripted, everything ready to go. And then there were a whole bunch of things that people who were going to have stuff happening with their trials and, well, motions towards their trials in October. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just put it off until after these things happen with the cases we're following. And then we got to the end of October and there was some family drama that happened. Well, it wasn't really drama. There were some family things that occurred that I needed to be part of that kind of kept me from filming the first part of November. So it is the first day of Flossmas. So everybody getting your holiday stuff ready to stitch. And I figured, I need my stash room back because I film in my stash room. And I right now have a pile of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and I have not had a chance to redo my scripts. So we are just going to go through the pile, and this will be a very disorganized floss tube. So if you're like, Stasha dear, how could you possibly be disorganized? I have seen your spreadsheets. Yeah, I keep spreadsheets. I also have ADHD. So we can be hyper focused on one area and completely disorganized in another and have it still make perfect sense. So what we are going to do today is I'm going to go through the things that I have scripted, and then we are just going to start picking stuff up off of the piles, talking about where they fit into the last 3 months, and go from there. And it just hit me, all of my FanX pictures are not in this room. So guess what? If there are any pictures from FanX, they'll be at the end. So if anybody doesn't want a disorganized video, this is not the one for you, and this is probably going to be a really long one because we've got 3 months worth of stuff. So we'll start with stats because that is the one place where I am actually organized. Stats for September. I worked on 13 separate projects. I had 10,841 stitches. I had one retreat that I went to in September. I had an average of 361 stitches. The projects that I worked on were September, which had the September. I bet I have September right here somewhere. No, that's October. Nope, I do have September. Here's September. September was 847 stitches, and it is completed. That's from the Shepherd's Bush Year of Stitches Stitch Along, which, by the way, after I finish December, I will probably be putting the full set up for sale on Stash Unload, unless somebody drops a note to me here saying, hey, I would love to have all of those. But I will admit I am probably going to sell them rather than give them away. Tonight We Ride had 208 stitches. Storied Steeds had 749 because that's an easy one to work on a retreat because it's Pattern Keeper, and Pattern Keeper is easy to work on retreats. Size Matters. I put 597 stitches on it. And while I was at the retreat, I saw somebody who had done Size Matters, and they put these cute little gold pistils on theirs. And so I ordered some really cute little gold pistils, and they didn't arrive. The post office says they delivered them, but when I asked them to please show me the GPS of where they delivered them, all of a sudden they couldn't find it. So it probably got stuck in customs or something. But anyway, I reordered them and ordered some additional things like these ladybugs that I thought might be cute to add to Ladybird Fairy, because these are the orange ladybugs. I threw in some floss drops. And there was one, I think there's one other thing nope, I think that's it. That's all I added to it. And that package arrived because, as you can see, I have the floss drops and I have the ladybirds. So I also have the pistils, and if size matters is in this pile of stuff to the side, you'll see the pistils. Okay, Sentinel. I got 587 stitches done on Sentinel. I got 1,764 stitches done on Alice. I completed page 2 of Alice because I start in the upper right-hand corner because I am left-handed. So in the upper right-hand corner and work your way this way. So I have completed page 2 and I'm working on page 4 of Alice in Wonderland by Bothy Threads. And if that's in the pile, I will show that to you today. Otherwise, any of these ones that I don't have in the pile, I'll throw pictures at the end if I get a chance to edit this before I put it out. Yeah, my version of editing is just adding pictures to the end. It's not really a lot of editing. I don't think I even listen back through what I record. I did 1,177 stitches on Jack Frost's Tree Farm because I kind of needed to know my sizing, because I decided to do it over 1 instead of over 2. And I was also having that issue with the snow showing up, and I switched to not eggshell, but I switched to another floss that's an off-white. It's almost like it got a pink tinge to it. If you look at it, it has a pink tinge, but when I put it on that blue fabric, the pink goes away, which is really cool. Okay, I put 715 stitches into Cabinet of Curiosities. I finished my Shepherd's Bush Christmas, which may or may not be here. I may have already put that away. So, yeah. Summer Queen had 557 stitches put into it. On Whip Warriors, we had the start and finish your smalls. So here is my Doctor Who bikini by Meridian Designs. And I did that in a weekend. It was 1,610 stitches. I put 566 stitches into Lilac, which is my Stitchery Express Mirabilia contest, Mirabilia challenge piece. I put 102 stitches in on my daughter-in-law's whip because her Wallace and Gromit whip was a W for one of the challenges. Work on a whip that starts with a letter so you can spell a word. So hers was Wallace and Gromit. So I put 102 stitches on Wallace and Gromit so that I can have a W for my word. And then for the Smalls Exchange, I stitched the Quaker Octopus that I got in San Antonio. So that is all stitched and gone and given away. So I had four finishes in September, which brings us to 26 finishes for the year. And I went to the Crazy Woman Retreat, and I went to Fanex, and at Fanex, the celebrity guest that I was helping was Adrian Huff, who, if you watched X-Men in the 90s, he was Nightcrawler. And if you watched the reboot on Disney Plus, he was Nightcrawler. At Fanex, I also got to meet Lou Diamond Phillips, who gives absolutely amazing hugs. I saw the actors who play the hobbits from Lord of the Rings. I kept running into Mel Gibson, although we didn't actually speak because he's not my guest. So no reason to talk to him. So moving on to October. In October, I worked on 12 whips. I had 12,001 stitches. for an average of 387. So just can't seem to get this mummy's head straight. I'll probably have to tack it down when I frame it. So this is the Shepherd's Bush Year of Stitches, October. And that was 655 stitches, and I got that one done. I put 144 stitches on Secret Carousel, and I stopped working on it in hand and put it back on the Q-snaps for that. 1,034 stitches into Tonight We Ride, 3,177 stitches into Wild Hunt, which completes the 10% that I was trying to finish on that for this year. I put 1,140 stitches in on Jack Frost's Tree Farm. Again, trying to figure out, can I cut the fabric? And we'll talk about that later. And I put in 3,992 stitches on Cabinet of Curiosities, and it is finished. It is all done. So my Stitchonomy Stitch Along Cabinet of Curiosities is complete. So that's finished. And I have not ironed it, so you can see the Nerge hoop lines. Sorry, guys. Other things I did. I put 470 stitches into Summer Queen, 695 stitches into Class Schedule. Okay, my EGA chapter has a whip-off sort of thing where they have a whip lottery where you enter your whip and you need to work on it at least. They don't count stitches, so that they say, oh, just put in 1 week of work in it during the month. If you do not stitch on your declared whip during the month, you have to pay $5. And then at the year-end party, they have a gift basket purchased with items purchased with the money from people who didn't complete their whips. Class Schedule is my declared whip for EGA. I put 222 stitches in on Lilac, which is the Stitchery Express Mirabilia saddle piece I'm working on, and that actually completes my stitches, my goal stitches for the year on that piece. So I may work, once I finish the goal stitches on everything else, I may work on that some more, but at the moment, that's where it's at. Okay, Lady Scarlet. I finished part 1 of Lady Scarlet's journey, and I think that is still downstairs because in 2025 I'm going to start on part 2 of Lady Scarlet's journey, unless I finish something else before the end of the year and have a slot open up in my 24 and 24. Because having completed part 1 and being done with part 1, I got to take Lady Scarlet off my list. Okay, month of November, I had 9 whips. We, of course, had the November Stitch Along. And I went to start the December Stitch Along this morning, and I cannot find it. So somewhere I don't know if I moved project bags with it, or, so here we are at the very last month of the year, and I cannot find the December pattern. I cannot find the December fabric, the charm. It's all in a project bag somewhere. I just don't know where I've put it. It is probably in this pile somewhere. Okay, I put 981 stitches in on Secret Carousel. And you're probably going, Stasha, that is more stitches than you have put on stitches in Secret Carousel all year. What changed? My husband got me some scroll rods that were long enough to fit the fabric for Secret Carousel. he took some nails and some muslin and made scroll rods for me that they fit in my Kay's Creation standard frame. So I have Secret Carousel up on scroll rods now, and it has been so wonderful to work on, so easy to work on. So I have managed to put in 981 stitches, and it went so smoothly. And I'm also moving out of 939 hell. I didn't say that with my outside voice, did I? Yes, I did. Shoot. Anyway, I actually got to put in some colors that weren't dark blue or brown. And it hit me that right now I have been completing 2% of Secret Carousel, which means that it will take me 50 years to finish this. And then I sat down and figured, okay, what would it take to do 10% of Secret Carousel? And at 50 stitches a day, every single day, that would bring me up to 10%. So the average strand on my Haid is 50 stitches. I have a group called One Strand a Night. If I kept to doing 1 strand a night on Secret Carousel every single day next year, or if I cheated and just did 350 a week every week, I would have 10% of Secret Carousel done. I am about 1,000 stitches away from having 5% completed. So you can see what a huge difference doing 10% in a year could make for me. So that is one of my number one goals next year, is to do 50 stitches a day on Secret Carousel, because that would cut down my finishing time to 10 years instead of 50. And let's face it, I do not have 50 years left. Okay. We talked about Secret Carousel. Okay, I did 1,631 stitches on Goblin Market, and I have about 1,400 stitches left to complete that goal for the year. I did 2,352 stitches on Mother's Arms. And then today, when I couldn't find the December stitch along piece, I put in another 544 stitches, which completes my 10% goal on Mother's Arms for this year. And it was close. It was in the pile. It was close. So here is Mother's Arms that I have completed for my work on for this year. So the fun thing about Mother's Arms is let me put this down. Mother's Arms was the very first Mirabilia I ever saw. And the moment I saw it, I knew I had to buy it. But back then, in the 90s, money was really tight because I had three kids that were all small, wasn't making a lot. And I was working in insurance instead of tech back then. I knew I couldn't afford it. So I just kind of put it on my wish list, and I kept going in every week to this shop. It was called Needle Play. And yeah, I know that's not exactly, that has other connotations now. But back then she called it Needle Play, and it was mainly a needlepoint shop, but she also carried cross stitch back then. She doesn't carry cross stitch anymore. But she, I kept looking at it, and she's like, you keep looking at that, and I'm like, yeah, I just can't afford it. And she says, well, I've seen your stitching. Would you be willing to stitch some models for me in exchange for that pattern? I'm like, oh, heck yeah, gladly. So that's how I got Mother's Arms, is I stitched models for Needle Play. And I think there's only one model I even have anymore. She sold them out from under me. I was supposed to get first dibs on buying the models when she went to sell them, and it never happened. Okay. Jack Frost Tree Farm, put in 489 stitches, decided I like the white that I'm using. It's easier to see. It still kind of disappears a little, but it looks white and not pink on the fabric, so we're good there. I did the 1,225 stitches needed on Princesses du Mal to finish up that goal for the year. I did 1,308 stitches on Summer Queen, which completed that 10% goal for the year. I did 623 stitches on Main Street, which was a WIP that I started when Just Cross Stitch published it in, I think it was 2004, 2005, something like that. But it was a series. And remember, I said class schedule was the piece I was working on for EGA. It is all finished. I have completed my class schedule. And I went and bought some googly eyes. So my book for Care of Magical Creatures has googly eyes on it. But class schedule is all finished. And that was an Armada Designs piece, and I don't think if she's designing anymore, she's not designing under Armada Designs. And she moved to Nevada. I think she has a shop in Nevada now, somewhere near Reno. Okay, so November, 9 WIPs, 11,187 stitches for an average of 373 stitches per day. That's where I'm at. Okay, one of my goals for 2024 was to stitch 120,000 stitches in a 12-month period. So I only need 5,453 stitches in December to hit that goal. So, and that does count the 544 that I stitched today. Thinking, did I have any other finishes that I didn't tell you about? If all else fails, go to the list. Okay, the only thing I didn't show is the Shepherd's Bush Christmas sampler, and I think I actually showed that in the last video, and the one before this one. Okay, if not, sorry, I'll show it to you when I frame it. Okay, so now we are just going to go through the piles of stuff. Okay, Fanex, they give us stickers. Well, not stickers. They give us pins. So this was the pin from 2023, which was the 10-year anniversary, and I have been volunteering since 2013. So this was my Fanex 10-year pin. And for the life of me, I could not find this. And I could not find this. And then I found it in a backpack that I didn't realize I had set up as my con bag and never really unpacked from last year, except for to take the food out. But yeah, I found it. And then this is this year's pin, the 2024 pin. And those will probably get turned into needle minders. When I was at the Crazy Woman Retreat in Casper, Wyoming, which, by the way, this is the sweatshirt. I am a badass stitcher. So, although somebody looked at it and said, "You're a bad stitcher," I'm like, no, you forgot the donkey. So, I got a red thicket needle minder. I got a butterfly needle minder. There was somebody who was from Nevada who brought us State of Nevada needle minders. And then I got a Betty Boop needle minder. And This is a fan needle minder with a button back. So I guess it could be reversible. Okay, this is the charm I did not put on my cabinet of curiosities, and I will probably end up using it somewhere else. There was somebody who at Crazy Woman who was passing out cozies for your drink coasters, so that you don't have to worry about your drink staining your table. And then I told you I finished the octopus for the Smalls Exchange. And this was what I received as my Smalls Exchange. And I just wanted the case. But check this out. Okay. It came with floss, which has gotten tangled in the chain now. And I will have to untangle that later. So she made a purse. Is this just like the coolest thing? That pattern is just to die for. And then it has the little gold tassel and peacock fabric on the back. That's lined with peacock fabric. And I'm thinking this is just like the perfect size to, how did I move out of frame? Okay, this is like the perfect size for going to the opera or the symphony. So I was very, very excited to get that. And my package also came with a soie crystal, which has gotten tangled in the purse, and I will untangle that later. And a second soie crystal, which kind of are both peacock colors. And this could also be used as a purse if you wanted to too, which is kind of cool. So that was what I got for my Smalls Exchange, and it's amazing. And I was really excited to get it. Okay, other things. I'm going to move the pile of completed projects. Other things I've gotten. I have my 2024 special holiday issue of the Christmas ornaments. And it is Flossmas, so I will probably be picking some things out to stitch during Flossmas. If I have been thinking, yes, I know it was crinkling. I've been thinking for Flossmas about doing my Little House Needleworks Village. There are 25 patterns. I have 24 of the 25, but the birdhouse number 25 is on its way from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. And Cindy Sorley at Stitchery Express had found this wonderful fabric for me. This is the same fabric I'm using for Jack Frost Tree Farm. It's kind of a blue-green, and it looks white when you look at it in this light. And I'm sorry, I don't have my regular lights on because I just wanted to get this filmed tonight, and I was not going to set up right now. But I should be able to cut 25 12 by 12 pieces from this. And then I can work on my Little House Needleworks and do all of them. And I've been thinking if I just started with one, and that's what I did every night for Flossmas. Okay. I was hoping too that I would have enough fabric for Jingle All the Way, but I'm thinking with Jingle All the Way, I may do this more on a brown or a beige or something, or even a blue. I think if I have if I have a large piece of fabric left over in this, I think I'm going to do Pringles on it. So there's that. Okay, other things I got. I have Thankful Tiny Town. And that's a note that I need to follow up on. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to know what I did, the fabric I used for Cabinet of Curiosities, it was Brash by Picture This Plus, Cashel 28 count. Okay, so one of the designers that Stitchery Express has started carrying is Quaternion Creations, and she's out of Ukraine, and I just love that. My mother is from Finland, and this just has a very Finnish feel to it. But we won't tell my mother that it's Ukrainian because she's a Finn. She hates the Russians. Sorry, just it's cultural bias. Finland was created to provide a buffer between the Russians and the Swedes. So, and my mother's heritage is, they live in Kotka now, but they were from Karelia. And when people fled Karelia, they actually dug the dead up from the graveyards and took them with them. They were not going to leave them in Russian hands. So we'll just tell my mother that this is Finnish if I stitch this for her. Same designer, Snowflake Serenade. Again, my mother is going to think this is Finnish, and we'll let her think that. But it's Ukrainian. And this is the other one I saw that I thought, oh my gosh. Oh, excuse me, this is Estonia, not Ukraine. She is from Estonia. So Estonians, if they speak really slow, actually, no, it's the other. I don't remember if Estonians can speak slow, then Finns can understand them, or if Finns slow down. Anyway, between Finland and Estonia, if one of them speaks faster, they can understand each other. And if the other one slows down, they can understand each other. I don't remember, but I thought that was really cool. I figured I'd stitch that one for Light, because Light really likes Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, remember I said I'm just going through the pile. Okay, next year for ANG, the American Needlepoint Guild. This is the project that my guild chapter is going to be working on, and this looks just blah, right? Although some people are like, oh, that's kind of pretty. If you look at this picture, it looks blue. But when you pull the actual thread colors, it is teal. But I got thinking, wouldn't that be cool to do in purple, yellow, and black? So we actually started talking in our chapter about color conversions. And there was only one person that really liked the teal and white. And they'll probably stitch in teal and white. But our first chapter meeting in January, we are going up to Needlepoint Joint in Ogden. And we are going to pick out colors and work on color conversions. And I actually taught a class in ANG on color theory and how I do color conversions, which may not be how other people do color conversions, but it's how I do color conversions. So if you would like to hear more on that, leave me a comment, and I will be happy to maybe do that class as a future floss tube. My fairy house came in along with the floss for it. My haunted house from Fabulous Houses came in. So now I am just missing 12 and 13, which I'm sure will come in soon. So, I taught Eleni a class on Pattern Keeper and how I import patterns that aren't really set for Pattern Keeper. And I showed her some shortcuts, and she gave me a gift card to Stitchery Express. So I got some of my Heart and Hand wish list ones. So I have Halloween Tiny Town to go with my Thankful Tiny Town. And I got the Christmas Tiny Town. And then I figured that took up the gift card, but I figured, I might as well finish off my wish list. So I have more Anytown, Patriotic Tiny Town, and Seaside Tiny Town. And I bought this one by Bobby G Designs. And this is why I should take my spreadsheet with me. Well, at least my inventory sheet with me when I buy things. Because I thought, this is so cool. I would love to stitch this. Got home to file it away. I have the kit. So we have 2 copies now. So anyway, that's what happens when I don't check my spreadsheet before buying. Okay, I have summer at the beach, so I picked up Autumn in the Country. And since Autumn in the Country can't travel alone, it traveled with Winter in the Forest. This was part of my color conversion class because I love being able to compare just threads and thread families. Okay, next thing in the pile. I ordered a Black Needle Society box. And I'm not part of the regular list for the subscriptions. I am not in a point in my life where I could do that. But they had an extra box, so I figured I would order it. And I have not even opened this, guys. I got this in September, and I have not even opened this because I wanted to do it on Flosstube, and then I didn't get around to filming Flosstube for 3 months. So, what's in it? This is the Gothic Romance box. And the recommended books are Mexican Gothic and Belladonna. And books for BNS, I have no idea what that is, but it's Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar, which I'm sure if there was a group to discuss this, I have missed it because I haven't opened this box for 2 months. So what's in the box? There is a sticker that says, I feel as if a link exists between your heart and mine. There's a velvet bag. There's lots of confetti stuff. There's a package of some sort, which we will open right here. Apparently it is a needle minder. So here's the needle minder. Whatever, no. What are our souls something made of? Something. I don't know. I'm going to have to, my eyes just don't see this. This is why I can't work on 40 count fabric anymore. So if somebody else can read that, it's probably showing backwards for you guys. Anyway. We have a mug. Hand wash your custom mug to keep it in tip-top condition. I believe in curses. I believe in demons. I believe in monsters. Okay, that's kind of cool. I've never had a box have a mug in it before. Okay. We have threads from Bestitched Me. Sanguine, which is a nice pretty red there. Gothic Romance, obviously done for the theme. And 10 Yards of Mystery. Those are nice. Those would be pretty nice together. Oh my gosh, guys. Fingerless lace gloves. I used to have those all over the... I used to have those in the 80s all the time. But yes, that goes with Gothic. Oh. How's that for a cameo? Add a chain on that and it would make a beautiful scissor fob. Okay, I want to make sure I've gotten everything out of the box. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got everything out of the box. A book, it says, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful," quote by Mary Shelley. And it is a blank book for taking notes with a nice little heart. We have red Lapin loops. Okay, we already looked at the silk pack. And then the pattern is Udolpho at Midnight, which was a very popular novel, Gothic novel. And Summerhouse Stitchworks did the pattern. Emily gazed with melancholy awe upon the moldering walls of the gloomy castle. Udolpho. So it's a quote from one of the first Gothic novels. And that's actually a cool pattern. I really like that. So that is my first Black Needle Society box. That's kind of got some cool stuff in it. Okay, I now have enough stuff cleared off my table, if we stopped filming right now, that I could work on my quilt. I'm still working on my kids' wedding quilt. They have been married for 4.5 years now, and I have not finished the wedding quilt yet. However, I did work on some baby quilts. So this is the backing fabric. I don't have them all the way done. And this is the quilt. Except for it goes this way. So there's the fabric. And I have 2 nieces that are sisters who had their babies a month apart. And this is the other quilt. Notice we still have the dinosaurs on both. But this is the backing fabric for hers. And I am hoping to get those finished once work ends for the year. Okay, at this point we're just going down the pile. The shirt from Crazy Woman. So here's my shirt from the Crazy Woman Stitch and Retreat. Oh, hey, found December. So there were stitching bags from, there were stitching bags at the retreat. And she was doing a buy one, I think it was buy one get one on the Christmas patterns. So we have this one. There's my December, which I will put over on this side, so I can start December tomorrow. Here is Santa on a motorcycle. Here is some cupcakes, and there's something in this bag. Oh, guess what, folks? Remember I said I finished Shepherd's Bush? There is my Shepherd's Bush. 2,000 years ago, the angels sang. That is Floss. 2,000 years ago, the angels sang, shepherds watched, wise men came. And then this is the second piece. In a stable, Bethlehem slept, while Mary and Joseph their sweet baby kept. So there is my Shepherd's Bush. So the charms on that weren't laying flat when I showed it to you before. Okay, so yeah, I finished my Shepherd's Bush stitch along. So now I have an empty Christmas bag. I also got some of the ones that weren't on sale. So these pandas were just really cute. Christmas sweaters. And then this is the whole reason I went to the buy one get one on this, because Jack Frost Tree Farm is in here. And we mentioned that I've done a lot of stitching on Jack Frost Tree Farm. And I should be able to cut off a huge chunk of that. In fact, I could probably just go 3 inches over and take this strip off, and then I've got some ornaments. I've got some ornament edges. So there is Jack Frost Tree Farm. That's as far as I got on it. And see, you can see the white now. You can see the white. You can't see the white up in the tree I was using just white here, and you can see the stitches if I hold it close, but you cannot see from back here, whereas you can see the white down below. Okay. And Jack Frost fits so wonderfully in there. Okay, one of the things we do at Crazy Woman is a bag exchange. And this is the bag that I got in the bag exchange. And I thought this was really cool, because she also included like a needle book, and an Ort container. So I've got an Ort container that came with it. And then she says she uses these for her project bag, her project cards. I use a spreadsheet, but I just thought that was kind of a cute idea too. Author would be the designer, title would be the project, and then you would put in here under due date, you would put the days you stitched on it, and how many stitches you put in, or what you did on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But she's at Christine's Quilt. So, and then she included some DMC colors for me that kind of go along with the bag, and needles. I can always use needles, and these are size 28 petites, which are wonderful. Okay, so those were the project bags I got at the Crazy Woman Retreat. Sarah from Sarah's Stitching Kingdom we were originally going to sit at the same table, and then we found out that the table only sat 6 instead of 8. But she had made gift bags for everybody at the table. So I have some more orange DMC. This is the gift bag she made. So even though we were at a different table, she gave me the gift bag anyway. Comfy socks, tissues, a limited edition gentle art thread, which kind of looks like Muddy Puddle, but I'm not sure what it is. Ultra Healing Hand Lotion. Oh, a Snagit. These are wonderful. By the way, at Crazy Woman, that is the first retreat my daughter-in-law has ever been to. And we had a lot of fun together, so I took Catherine with me. Oh, a pair of scissors. Does that not look perfect for that gothic needle minder? Oh my gosh, not needle minder, the cameo. That would make such a really cool. I should make a scissor fob and put those together. Oh, I lost my last glass nail file. I love these. They say that this is the last nail file you'll ever need. It is glass, and you just rinse it off when you're done with your nails. And they last forever, as long as you don't lose them or break them. So I am excited that was in there. And then there is candy in here that I have not touched since September. So I'm going to put that aside for later too. Oh, this is my project bag for the Shepherd's Bush Christmas that has all my stuff that needs to be put away. I think I threw some other things in here too. Oh, somebody gave us these, saying that you throw this in the dryer, like a dryer sheet, and the pins will take all the static out of your clothes. Picket fence was what I was using on Jack's tree farm, and it just was not showing up. And then somebody else gave us these cool little needle pullers, and it's like a rubber dishcloth thing attached that's been added to fabric. And then just some business cards. Oh, here's the instructions on the magic dryer tool. So, hi, I am a magic dryer tool. Place me in the dryer, and all your clothes will come out soft and not staticky. There is an unspooling Kreinik in here. Okay, all that needs to be filed back because hold on. And then somebody else gave us a nail file with a scissors thingy on it. Okay. Other things we got from Crazy Woman. This was our water cup. I did not get my sticker put on straight, but it is a waterproof sticker. Here is my name tag that says Stasha with my turtle on it. Somebody gave us some magnets to hold your fabric taut. Another pair of scissors. This cute little fan was inside the peacock purse that I got from my Smalls Exchange. I thought that was really cute. It looks like a collection of floss, DMC. This was the pattern for the retreat. It is Counting Puddles, Wild and Free. And there's a unicorn adaptation for it, so you can do it as a horse or you can do it as a unicorn. And here's the fabric for Wild and Free from Live and Die in LA. Oh, that is the DMC floss for the pattern we got. So it's all in one thing. And this nice iridescent bag is kind of cool. Except for I can't get it to fold up, so we'll deal with it later. Here's the straw for the cup. Emily Michelle Bags gel highlighter for highlighting your patterns, and my pattern keeper thing. Okay, what else do I have in here? Okay, other things I got from Crazy Woman. I have my Panda by Hornu, a cute little bag somebody gave me. Just Nans with my needle. I'm pretty sure I don't have that one. Or if I did have it, I didn't stitch it. Cross and Patch, Love in Your Heart. Cross and Patch is where I learned Hardanger. The Heirloom Whitework sampler from Cross and Patch. I don't think I have put any of these in. I don't think I have put any of these in my catalog. So I'm gonna put the project from the retreat into the project bag. So that I have it all, so it's all ready to go. There. Okay. This is one of my project bags that I must have just been using for storing stuff in. So Counting Puddles was there, so I have the snowflake goat, which it was either the goat or the llama that came in my box from Under the Sea Fabrics, the Christmas box. So Counting Puddles, the watermelon crawl was one of the ones I bought there. I bought some fabrics from Red Thicket. Chimney, Ada Opal, 18 count. Snickerdoodle, 18 count Ada. No, 28, this is 28 count linen. This is Serenity, 28 count linen Serenity. That might be good for that Jingle All the Way. Either that or this would be good for Jingle All the Way. This is the Snickerdoodle 18 count Ada. And another piece Did I? No. Yeah. Okay. This is Chimney without the opalescent. And then somebody had put this really cute bag on the exchange table. I thought, oh, that's cool. That is fun. And I need a drink. And guys, we're only halfway through this pile. You can see why I need to film more often. Because here we are, an hour into it, and I'm not all the way through. But this was the bag everything was sitting in. It says, make the best of everything. So this is my Live and Die in LA bag. So the only time I see Live and Die in LA is at Crazy Woman. So I know why I bought these. Remember when I bought this by Jardin Privé? I thought these, I haven't decided which one I'm going to do, but I thought those would be just like the perfect colors to do that with. And who knows, I may do more than one. So anyway, that's why I bought those colors. And then I got Latte, which several of my table mates said this is like the best neutral background color. And French Vanilla. And I'll admit, I waited until the last day. So pretty much everything that was left was Ada. So we have a lot of 18 count Ada. Because the other thing I found is I can see 18 count Ada, but I can't see 36 count linen anymore. I can do over one on 18 count Ada. Silver Limey, which is a really pretty blue-gray, which doesn't look blue-gray under the lights we've got today. It looks kind of washed out white, but it is pretty blue-gray. There you go, sealed. Easter Grass, which definitely reminds me of Easter. It's kind of blue, green, purple, pink. Sleigh Bells, which I'm thinking that might be cool for Nutcracker Village. Oatmeal. This is a 28 count linen. So I did at least get one in linen from Live and Die in LA. And then I grabbed this one in a 20 count Ada. And I got thinking, that's 20 count Ada, that's like over 2 out of 40 on a 40 count linen. So we'll see if I can actually see this. And I'm sure I've got some Halloween patterns that would look perfect on that. Maybe I'll do Nevermore on this one. That Estonian piece that I showed you earlier. There's a 32 count linen in that Smack the Jellyfish. This is also Smack the Jellyfish. And then I got a 28 count cranberry sauce linen because I think I was thinking Christmas with this, but now I don't remember what it was I was thinking. This is why you need to write notes when you buy fabrics for projects. Because 6 months later, you're going to go, what was I buying that for? Okay. So that is my haul from the Crazy Woman Retreat. What do I have left over here? Oh, this is the bag. This is Stitcher's Retreat bag. And stuff I haven't unpacked except for Angela Hake from Threaded Treasures is the one who made the purse. I mean, check out this card. Is that just like not perfect? It just goes so well with the purse. So, and she actually took a class to learn how to do the purse. So that's what it was. So her YouTube channel is Threaded Treasures. So please make sure to go check out her YouTube channel and do the like and subscribe stuff here too when you go check her out. Before you check her out, actually. Okay. So, Summer Queen. We got to skin. I actually got to roll it. And we are working on skin. So the lower part of her skirt is finished. And Summer Queen, we are starting to work on hands. So that is where Summer Queen is at. Princesses du Mal. We have finished Cruella's hair. We added some back stitching to Ursula, and the Queen from Snow White is starting to work on her. And that is from Point de Lucy, the Princesses du Mal. And yes, I am working on the back stitching as I go along because otherwise I will put it down and not do it anymore. Alice in Wonderland. I love the bag on this. Oh, where are you, Alice? See, I have completed page 2 and I'm working on page 4. So we have the Cheshire Cat finished and we have part of Alice. And then after we finish page 4, we'll bebop over to page 1 and work on that. Wild Hunt. I believe I finished page 3 on Wild Hunt. Trying to decide, should I go all the way across and do the tree, or should I pop down? I think I'm going to pop down and see if I can't get to the bottom. And just to make sure I've got enough space on this. That's just stuff I can put away. This is the Woobles kit that I got because I had 2 of my children ask for the Woobles Advent calendar, and I ordered both of them. No, I ordered one in August and one in September. No, one in October. The one for October still has not shipped. So this is my Woobles, which I'm sure I will get around to doing Bubbles the Elephant eventually. But I am actually going to check and see if that Woobles kit has shipped yet. Because now I'm wondering. It was supposed to ship. It was supposed to ship on November 20th. And it is still listed as unfulfilled. So, I am not sure. I am not sure if the child that I ordered the second Woobles Advent kit for is going to get it in time for Christmas. Hopefully they get their shipping, hopefully they get their supply issues worked out and they can do it. Okay, so Jan Hicks came to Stitchery Express, so she signed my Jan Hicks Creates Christmas countdown. So I went through this when I unboxed it, right? Everybody saw my Under the Sea fabrics. I'm pretty sure I did that. So if I didn't show you the Undersea Fabrics Christmas thing and you all want to see it, leave me a comment and I'll do it next time. Okay, this is where we got on Ladybird Fairy. So we have one leg down, working our way across the bottom. And you'll notice there are some ladybirds in there now. I figured out the colors I wanted to do the ladybugs in. So that's all solved. Okay. I'm hoping I did not stick my pajama clad bud. Okay. There is one of the pearl-handled pistols. This was the second time I ordered them because the first time they got stuck in customs. This is the pattern that they'll go with. Dirty Annie's size matters. And I'm stitching this on Under the Sea Fabrics Bruges because to me this kind of looked like camouflage. So as you can see, I started in the upper right hand corner, working my way across. You would think for a small pattern like that, I would have gotten a lot further along on that. But I haven't. And it'll probably wait till the first of the year. Okay. That is all the stitching stuff. Seriously. That is all my stitching stuff for the last 3 months. So, let's get down to true crime. And you're like, oh, Stasha, it's already been an hour and 15 minutes. That's why, but the true crime is what you're coming for, right? Although, I had somebody suggest that I should maybe do the true crime part as a stitch along. And I do have a setup that would allow me to do the true crime part while you watch me stitch on something. So if you think that it would be great for me to do the true crime separately as a stitch along, or if you like this format, let me know. And we will get things set up the way you guys want. So starting with cases we've been covering, Nicholas Rossi. In his August 22nd arraignment, Nicholas Rossi admitted that, I should say Arthur Knight admitted that yes, he is Nicholas Rossi. And I must have moved over something. So we've now tied that Arthur Knight, extradited from Scotland, is indeed Nicholas Rossi. October 17th, there was an arraignment and bail hearing in Utah County, and the judge is like, considering the way this guy has run and the fact that he's got multiple aliases, why are we even having this hearing? So he was denied bail because he is a major flight risk. Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone was the lady in Florida. Okay, Nicholas Rossi is, going back just to recap a little bit, Nicholas Rossi is accused of raping 2 women in Utah. And I'm not supposed to say that word on YouTube. So anyway, he is accused of attacking 2 women in Utah and doing nasty things with them, and then fleeing the state. And he was under indictment for credit card fraud in Rhode Island, and was involved in some scams in Rhode Island, and apparently assaulted some women there. And then he faked his own death and fled to Scotland, and apparently met and married a woman there who has been helping him with she's been supporting him, and she helped him fake his death on the internet. And when you are dead, you should not modify any Wikipedia pages having to do with yourself, because that's basically how they found him. There was a Wikipedia page about him that a reporter who'd been investigating him and following his exploits put some negative items on the Nicholas Rossi something is Aliverdians, I think is given name. So anyway, they had Peacock has a 4-part series on him that talks about how he helped manipulate one of the elections here in Utah too. So anyway, I'm sure we'll be going through a bunch of motions on him, and I can't see him pleading guilty, but he does actually have a public defender now. Nicholas was going to represent himself, but now he has a public defender. Sarah Boone, she was the lady in Florida who is now convicted of either her boyfriend got into a suitcase and she zipped it up and left him there, or there were some rumors that maybe she had kicked him down the stairs while he was in the suitcase. But he suffocated to death. Her boyfriend suffocated to death in a suitcase, and she was convicted. The trial had been interrupted by Hurricane Milton in early October, but after a 2-week trial, the jury was out for an hour and a half, and part of that time they were eating dinner. So she was found guilty really quick. Okay, Naod Welde, he's the teenager that was shot just a couple miles from my house at the Mount Olympus trailhead. They have now arrested a 3rd man. They arrested Alexander Ruiz Martinez, who was 19, Mateo Martinez, 20, and a 15-year-old unnamed. All 3 of those arrested are documented gang members. There were two others that were injured with Welde, and they were assaulted with a hammer while Welde was shot. None of the 2 people that were with Welde or Welde are associated with gangs. They were just up there to see the sunrise and maybe go for a hike. But they were at the Mount Olympus trailhead, and some gang members shot them. So, however, they have filed felony murder charges against the 3 men who are accused of attacking the two boys with a hammer and shooting Welde. However, I have not been able to find out if there's a trial or if they've taken a plea deal or what's going on with it. Andoy Pham is still in jail. I have his booking number. I have his SO number. But I have not heard anything about what's going on with his case. He's the one that was driving around doing hit and runs with women that he saw on the street. And if you were jogging in the street, he would drive his car at you. And he has 11 charges going on. Corey Richens, our dear friend who had a ghostwriter write a book about grief for her children. And there's a lot of people saying, oh, the children's author. No, Corey did not write the book. Corey paid a ghostwriter to write the book. I am glad Corey did not use AI to write her book, but did actually pay a physical human to write the book on grief for her. She had a bail hearing on October 28th where bail was denied. She had her preliminary hearing where the judge is like, yeah, there's enough. There's enough here to bind it over for trial. On November 12th, there were other motions. There were a lot of other motions that were seen. One of the motions that was seen and accepted was they will enlarge the jury pool to include Salt Lake County as well as Summit County, because she's claiming that she's so famous that they can't get an impartial jury in Summit County. The death penalty is off the table, so it will be an 8-person jury, not a 12-person jury. And pretty much that's, and in Corey Richens, they have also introduced a search warrant on some new evidence that apparently Corey hit up 2 of her employees, not just one, to purchase fentanyl. And they have text proof from one of the employees who was unfortunately unalived in a motorcycle accident in September of this year. So I'm thinking that they are I don't know, how can you introduce the text messages when the person is not there to be cross-examined? So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that, because there was a lot of stuff that couldn't be introduced in the Chad and Lori Daybell cases because Alex was no longer alive to defend or clarify his information. So much of the Alex information was not admissible because Alex is dead. So anyway, kind of done with Corey Richens until her trial next spring. Speaking of Daybell, Lori Daybell is currently under a it's a something 11 motion with the Arizona, in the state of Arizona, where she needs to have a mental competency exam done. They had she is wanting to represent herself, so she does have legal assistance, but they are not lawyers from the public defender's office. So Lori is representing herself, and she wants the whatever 11 situation lifted, and the judge is like, not while you're representing yourself. We need to know that you're competent, because the state of Idaho held her in, said she was not mentally competent for 11 months. The judge is like, just to be safe, let's have somebody check you over. And apparently she was not happy with the initial doctor that the state sent over, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So we'll go on that. So that is all the cases we have covered in the past. However, with Sarah Boone, Brian Koberger, we have not updated on Brian Koberger. So Brian Koberger is the gentleman in Idaho who is accused of unaliving 4 college students in the middle of the night. He had the venue has been moved to Boise, which means he has a new judge. And the new judge is like, Judge, let you guys have a lot of leeway, without naming Judge. He just said, you have had a lot of leeway, and I am tired of some of the behavior I'm seeing between the attorneys here, so stop it. And there have been a whole slew of motions regarding the death penalty, and a lot of these motions are just the defense attorneys know they're going to be denied, but they're just putting them out there for appeals purposes. Like, to give an example of one that's being done for appeals purposes is the U.S. is one of the few countries in the world that still has the death penalty. Should we in the future have an international treaty with some country that says that America has to get rid of the death penalty in order to have this treaty, we ask that the death penalty be taken off the table if this treaty ever comes into effect. And it's like, good luck with that. But I can see where they're putting it in place for appeals. There was another appeal. There was another motion last week another motion in November to throw out all of the evidence because the DNA ancestry search may have been done improperly. They've had some DNA experts testify about this to Judge. Judge is like, no, we're not going to throw it out. And it's working its way up to the Idaho Supreme Court. Kohberger's defense is claiming that the prosecution must have used some non-public tables in order to get to Kohberger's DNA, in order to attach this to a relative of Kohberger's. And I'm not sure. I think in a case like this, they are going to be so careful. And they're going to make sure that they use only publicly accessible tables. So anyway, Kohberger, we're looking at August of 2025 for the trial. And tangential to the Kohberger case, the TikTok psychic who was accusing a college professor of having an affair with one of the victims, and therefore orchestrating somebody to unalive the victims in order to hide this affair, has been found guilty of defamation, and is trying to fight it and trying to say that no, just because the courts won't recognize my psychic abilities, you can't find me guilty of defamation. And it's like, you didn't have any proof that she's involved. And we have 2 new cases here in Utah. The first one is Matthew Johnson of Cottonwood Heights. Matthew's wife was filing for divorce, and she called him to come over and get some of his stuff out of the family home. Now, mind you, Matthew Johnson owned the home before they got married. So she probably wasn't going to get the house. But Jennifer Gledhill has been arrested for shooting her husband. However, his body is still missing. She did tell somebody that she unalived her husband, loaded him into a travel carrier, pulled the travel carrier down the stairs, loaded it into her truck, called her parents who came over to the house and started cleaning, and she drove it out somewhere and buried it in a shallow grave. buried the whole travel container, not just him. Not only has Jennifer Gledhill been arrested, but her parents have been arrested too. Because her parents, when the police arrived, her parents were busy cleaning the house. Because apparently some neighbors had reported some gunshots or something. And her parents were busy cleaning the house, wouldn't let the police into the house. And her parents have been arrested for what is it when you won't help the police and you're basically hindering the investigation and lying to the police, and they were cleaning up all the evidence and washing everything down with bleach so that they were interfering with the investigation. Anyway, they have been arrested now as well. So yeah, the kids, when you unalive your husband that you're currently divorcing so that you can have full custody of the kids, you may not get to see your kids again. So, because let me tell you, Jennifer Gledhill's probably not going to see the kids again. Corey Richens has been claiming that that her children have been told to think of her as a distant relative, that she's no longer their mother, and that Eric's sisters are raising them as their own kids, which frankly I think is a good idea for those kids, given what we've seen of Corey. But Corey is still innocent until proven guilty. The other case here in Utah, on July 12th at 10 p.m., Matt Rostelli came to pick up his wife from her mother's house and was shot 7 times. When the police arrived, the neighbors called as soon as they heard the gunshots. 17 minutes later is when her mother, Matt Rostelli's mother-in-law, called and said that Matt had barged into the house with a knife and they had defended themselves. And unfortunately, he was now unalived. However, police were a little suspicious that Matt was holding the knife in a way that would be totally useless in a fight. He was holding it in his right hand, and subsequent talks with his relatives found that he is actually left-handed. One of the other items that came up is, if you are barging in to attack somebody, do you stop at the front door and take your shoes off and put them neatly in a row with the other shoes that have been taken off at the front door? Because apparently Matt did. So it just looks really suspicious. And then on top of that, his wife was going out on a date with somebody 4 days after her husband was unalived in her mother's house. So anyway, her brother was arrested the night that Matt was shot. Her mother, so some of the search warrant stuff that's come out is her mother was Googling the whatever it is, the family in Florida that the brother hired somebody to unalive his brother-in-law. And then the parents were going to flee to Vietnam, and they arrested the mom at the airport. And she was supposed to go to trial in September, but ended up having to have a change of attorneys because there was a conflict of interest. And it came out that these attorneys that had been representing her son were more into representing her, so his trial may be overturned because of this. For the life of me, I can't remember it. Anyway, Matt Rostelli's mother-in-law was Googling that family in that crime case. And I'm listening to all this going, and you know what? This also has shades of Lori Vallow, Daybell. because Charles Vallow was shot in July by his brother-in-law, and who claimed it was self-defense. And I'm just thinking, here we are, 5 years apart, with pretty much the same scenario, except for Charles didn't have a weapon. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Matt Rastelli case here, because that one has a lot of that Daybell flavor, and Lori still doesn't have a trial date. She's going through this I'm just going to Google Vallow 11 real quick here and see what it is. It's because I feel silly that I don't remember what that's called. Okay. Rule 11 evaluation. Okay, so Lori's previous attorney group, as her attorneys, filed for a Rule 11 evaluation. Lori has not cooperated with the Rule 11 evaluation. She asked for it to be vacated, and the judge asked in open court what Lori's mental health diagnosis was, which of course the people assisting her were like, can we come do that without telling the general public? Can we approach the bench and tell you this information on the record, but off the public screen? And the judge is like, we're going to go ahead and shut the feed for a moment. And they didn't actually shut the feed. They had like white noise going on. So you had this noise so you couldn't hear what people were saying. And they weren't showing any of the people. They were like showing the seal or something. And it was really interesting because they were talking about what the mental health professionals in Idaho found for her. And she was like, I'm competent now. And the judge is like, yeah, we're still going to do our own evaluation. So she is currently under a Rule 11 evaluation, and they are supposed to meet back up in either December or January to make that determination as to whether or not she maintains under Rule 11. And back in September, when I was actually putting together a script so that this would be organized, I found an article about a Kentucky woman who, this isn't local, but this Kentucky woman was arrested after her mother's severed body was found cooking in the backyard. Fried green tomatoes, anybody? Kind of remember reading about that in Fried Green Tomatoes. But anyway, construction workers that were supposed to come to the house and fix it say that the woman screamed at them and tried to hex them. So apparently cooking her mom was part of her witchcraft rituals, and tells me she was not Wiccan and was obviously a black witch. So anyway, that's all I've got. I'm sure there is more, but that's all I've got organized right now. So, Merry Flossmas. May your Christmas stitching be wonderful. And I will let you know what all I'm doing for my Christmas stitching. What ends up happening. Thanks, everybody. Do the like, subscribe, and YouTube-y things, and have a happy holiday season. Thanks all.